Is there any sort of conversation about bringing past members back for any point in this tour?
Yeah, the final show for sure. I mean, the idea is to invite everyone, and of course, this includes the Cavalera brothers. If they want to be a part of the party, they are welcome.
I think there's a lot of people trying to get a sense of where you guys are at now, whether it's good terms, bad terms, just for the current day.
I'm not interested in discussing who's right, who is wrong, the bullshit that we went through, and etc. The politics behind, and that's totally irrelevant.
So, Andreas, how are you today?
Great, all good here in Brazil, in São Paulo, getting ready for some concerts here in Brazil, and then ready to go to Europe for 2 weeks. It's great.
Yeah, super exciting. Of course, a massive milestone for the group and a conclusion for the band, looking at wrapping up, saying goodbye, and doing the farewell. You know, talking about the preparation for these tour dates, what is the preparation like for you guys mentally and also just in terms of the actual rehearsals, being that this is the final run, maybe compared to a regular run? What's the process like?
I guess it's the same, you know. It's just another run, but it happened to be the last. I
Right.
think that the consequences of that will come later, I guess, But we are living the moment, enjoying the present. It's a fantastic tour. We started last year, and it's going till the next year. We planning to have this big show in São Paulo at the end of the 2026 to really be the last one, and not concerned too much. I mean, of course, we built the set list around our history. Playing as much as we can of every type of style, let's say. Like influences we had from the early thrash to the percussion, the Brazilian music and rhythms, to the orchestral works and acoustic works, and more melodic and etc. We have 40 years of history. We experimented so much. We worked so many different producers and musicians, and now we are here in a conscious choice, in peace with ourselves, enjoying very much the moment. We love each other inside the band. We have no, we have no reason to break up. Actually, we're not breaking up. We're just stopping to tour. It's very
Right.
different situation. So it's a privilege, to stop like that after 41 years at the top of our career, playing the biggest shows in our history, and it's amazing to feel how Sepultura is important in so many people's lives. A lot of people coming to the show was very emotional, remembering the first show, the first shirt, or people that have met in Sepultura concerts. Now they're married, bringing their kids. It's a fantastic feeling. It's a momentum of gratitude. To say thanks to all the fans that kept this band alive and throughout the bad and good moments, and it's a fantastic feeling. So we are just celebrating. I think it's working great, much better than we expected actually. Because the vibes are amazing, the shows are fantastic, and that's it. And when we stop, we're gonna feel, I guess, the what it means, to be the last one. So let's wait and see.
Yeah, I guess we're going to find out. But I love the fact that it does feel like exactly what you said, a celebration, and it doesn't feel like there's this melancholy energy around the
Definitely.
tour. Would you say that's because of the factors you're mentioning? I mean, because when it was first announced that you guys were retiring, I think a lot of people were sort of taken aback a little bit, which to me is such a
Yeah.
better response than people saying, "Oh yeah, I could have seen that coming."
Definitely, yeah. I mean, there's so many bands that are breaking up, and they hate each other. They just jam because they have to pay bills, and they are obliged to go on the road. Life on the road can be amazing, but also can be very miserable. To be away from family and to be around people you don't like, and you can, and doing stuff just for other reasons that the stuff you love to do, and why wait for that moment to arrive, and why I have to do that for the rest of my life. It's like
Yeah.
41 years of amazing history. and I'm 56 years old, and I feel great physically and mentally, motivated to start a new project, to start something new from scratch, to keep my mind going after challenges, you know. I mean, the worst that can happen to an artist is to be in this comfort zone, you know, where you know you have control and everything happens, you know, the way it's supposed to. Let's say, you know, and I don't know. I mean, you know, Sepultura did so much, and it feels the right moment to stop uh, in our own terms. You know, I guess not that many people can do that.
Now, you made it clear in past interviews recently that you're going to be continuing to make music yourself even
Oh
after
yeah,
Sepultura is finished. Do you see yourself pursuing more solo music or maybe pursuing another band that, perhaps we're not aware of?
both. Anything can happen. I'm not really concerned about that now.
Yeah.
I already have like parallel stuff going on with Sepultura, like De La Tierra. I have a band with my son called Kisser Clan. I have a
Hmm.
radio show here in Sao Paulo every Sunday, and many other projects that I have here in Brazil that I will be able to put more time and effort and energy on it. Plus, many other stuff, that possibilities that can happen. Uh, I think my intention is really to try to do something different from Sepultura, of course, you know. It would be kind of weird for me to stop Sepultura and go and do something similar, you know, with different guys and
Right.
go through all the same circuit, you know, see the same people and stuff. I mean, I don't see myself doing that, you know. So I'm still studying music a lot. I still study classical guitar, and with my teacher that I, you know, every week it's an amazing experience to still study, to you know, to improve possibilities um, and to get better every day, you know, technically and you know, I want to try to use more of the acoustic guitar, the classical influence, and instrumental stuff, and who knows, but also different bands and different projects uh, and soundtracks, whatever. You know, I think the sky is the limit. You know, there's so many possibilities. I know so many people around the world, and I want to take my time. You know, I don't want to rush, and I want to do something that's really meaningful and not only, you know, go after something to pay the bills only. You know, really explore new territories and keep growing as an artist and consequently as people. You know, as a person.
So, from the sounds of it, you don't have any plans of hiatus then. I mean, you're going to be doing the farewell for Sepultura, but it sounds like you're going to be continuing with all the other projects you do and then adding to that roster as well, just right out the gate.
Yeah, it is like that. I mean, like I said, there's so many possibilities, and when the time comes to decide, you know, I hope I'll be prepared to make the best decision.
Now, obviously, there's been questions for years and years of, fans hounding you guys, asking about a reunion of the original lineup. And I'm not going to sit here and ask you that question because it's been sort of driven into the ground. But just an update that I can't get away without asking. Is there any sort of conversation about bringing past members back for any point in this tour, whether it's in the middle or maybe for one final show?
Yeah, the final show for sure. I mean, the idea is to invite everyone that were a part of Sepultura, um, as a musician, as everybody, you know, roadies and stuff, you know, people that were so important in specific times in our career and history that make this band be here today, you know. And of course, this includes the Cavalera brothers, which would be amazing if we have them to jam. I'm not interested in discussing who is right, who is wrong, you know, about history and all the bullshit that we went through and etc. The politics behind, and that's totally irrelevant. You know, it would be great just to go on stage, jam to ourselves, to our families, and to our fans, especially, you know, and celebrate one last gig all together, and that's it. You know, hopefully that will happen. not only Cavalera brothers, but Jairo and Gian Dolabella, Eloy Casagrande, and Roy Mayorga, and so many different musicians that were so important, in our history. So, regardless of the participation of A or B, we're gonna celebrate ourselves. If they want to be a part of the party, they are welcome.
Yeah, and I respect the fact that you're talking about not wanting to dredge up old things and sort of rehash things from 20, 30 years ago that may have been issues. How about
Yeah, we're never
recent
gonna get
relation?
to a point of agreement. It's like,
Right,
and it doesn't matter. It's totally unnecessary at this point of agreement. It's just like,
right.
let's respect what we have together. It's a beautiful history. We built something so special, and so powerful. And it'll be amazing to have this chance to to jam one last time for the sake of music. All the rest is just irrelevant.
Now, how about recent relations? I mean, I think there's a lot of people trying to get a sense of where you guys are at now, whether it's good terms, bad terms, just for the current day. For example, Max Cavalera had recently said that they still call it Sepultura, but everybody knows that it's not the same and it will never be the same. I mean, a statement like that, how do you
I hope
uh,
so.
hope so?
Who is the same? I mean, tell me somebody that is the same 10 years ago or yesterday. Are you the same as yesterday?
I hope not.
Well, that's it. I mean, and who cares? I mean, who cares what he says or not? I mean, you know.
But you're not affected by comments like that in the grand scheme of things. It sounds like you guys have known each other for so long. It's kind of like family. You can make a comment and it doesn't seem to get too much under your skin. Would that be somewhat accurate?
Yeah, it just not a part of what I am, of what I live or what I do. Our opinions are out there. You have an opinion. It's the same as he has an opinion, or my son has an opinion. Whatever. If you
Yeah.
have an opinion, speak up. You're free to speak up. So enjoy.
No, that's so true. But it sounds like not only for the Cavalera brothers, but in general, you're very much open to this being a celebration of all eras, which I think is going to be super exciting and encouraging for the fans to come and check out the final shows. Now, speaking of being in the group for so long, you and Paolo Jr., maybe speak about the relationship there since you guys have been in it together for so long.
It's great. Paulo is my brother. It's since the day one. I mean, was the first one that I really met in Belo Horizonte. He was opened the doors from his house, and since then, we lived together for a few years, and he's the godfather for my first child, and we know each other for all this time that I've been in Sepultura since 1987, and we went through so many different things together, and our friendship and brotherhood is stronger than ever. And he's a much better musician today. He went through so many different personal things, to improve and to be confident. Uh, and now he's, I mean, we all quit alcohol. Alcohol was kind of a big problem uh, inside our families and business, all the stuff that happens. Alcohol was a big problem. And now we don't drink. I'm 5 years without alcohol. Paul is around 3 or 4 years. Garrett doesn't
Congrats to
drink
you
for
both.
6 years. It's amazing, man. It's the best. He's playing better than ever. It's a better person, it's a little more focused, more into everything. We wake up without a fucking hangover, and we saved a lot of money, not
Right.
spending fucking alcohol. So yeah, it's we help each other. We are family, and he's basically the main reason we're still here. Like holding up so many different changes throughout Sepultura career, and he's the only one who is still here since the very beginning. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that bond is incredible. You spoke on the alcohol, and that's, I think, a common theme for a lot of people. Was this an issue that you guys tried to fix in the past? Like, did you guys try to cut down on the drinking as a band and fail? And maybe to add to that, did you ever see yourself in a place where you wouldn't need the drinking and you'd be able to be still at the top of your game?
No, we didn't think about in those terms. We were
Okay.
just living the moment. It was
Yeah.
just very normal to have alcohol all around. Everybody was doing. You get to the backstage, you have a fresh bottle of Jack Daniels every day, a fridge full of beers and wine. And in the airport, day off, we were in the bar drinking. It was just natural, you know. It was something that we didn't think too much about it. It's just like sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We were living our dream, traveling the world, making money, making music, and living the lives of our idols, Lemmy and all those crazy guys. But each one of us, we stopped in different moments for different reasons. It was not like a shrink or something that we went in a band work like Metallica did or something like that. We were just like very different moments in our personal lives and different reasons and age and everything that comes with mature thinking and seeing friends dying, seeing friends losing their careers or losing their relationships because of drugs and alcohol and ourselves, feeling feeling something is wrong and it was the best decision I made in my life. It changed my life completely. Alcohol is really a poison in all respects, not only physically, but also in society, on relationships and many accidents and domestic violence. And it's all related to this. There is so much uh, on propagandas and, on inherited in every culture, basically, and it's so dangerous and people don't realize. And we, at the time, we didn't realize as well. We thought it was fucking normal and enjoying life at the full, in our point of view at the time. But I enjoy life much better now without alcohol. That's for sure.
Wow. See, I love that. And I love that we can put that message out there for people. You talk about the fact that you guys were living the dream and you guys really were living the dream. And on top of it, you were the first group of your genre from where you were from to really have that international acclaim. What was that like for you guys to have that on your shoulders, so to speak? Was it a big responsibility, or again, was it just we're living the life, we're making money, we're not thinking about this, we have shows to do?
A little bit of both. Of course, we were the first Brazilian band to achieve those things, to play outside Brazil, to tour Europe, States, and to play alongside our idols like Black Sabbath and Metallica, Slayer, and all those bands. And plus, even more, we went to play on the same festivals as Sting and Peter Gabriel, and meeting and knowing all these people. It was more than a dream, much more than we dreamed before as kids. I always say like our reality was much more intense than any dream that we could have. But we went much further than anything that we could imagine. So it was great, especially on the Rise and KZD. A Rise in '92. We spent like 2 years and a half traveling the world. We toured with Ozzy. We went to Australia, Japan for the first time, and we played Rock in Rio Festival. We met Judas Priest. We met Guns N' Roses, Megadeth. People already knew what Sepultura was all about, which was like mind blowing for us. Our idols know what the fuck we are. It was like
Right.
it was crazy. Rob Halford came to our dressing room just to meet us. Metal God, was there to talk to us, and you can imagine for kids like us, playing in Rock in Rio in Brazil, in such a big festival, to have that kind of motivation. It's amazing. So and then of course we felt the impact that we were doing in Brazil. Like bring the attention of international acts to Brazil, while Brazilian bands were more. Uh, we opened kind of big doors, for many bands to leave Brazil and to go outside and to tour and to get record deals and stuff. A lot of bands starting to sing in English just because we did, you know,
Right.
thinking that was just like the magical trick, to to get international success and stuff. But
Was it a
was it
trick?
were
Did you think
exciting
that was part
times.
of your success?
Oh, definitely, yeah. But was not the. I mean, you see, Rammstein didn't need that. They sing in their own language in German, and they are an international phenomena. Who knows that if we sang in Portuguese, who knows that what could happen? But English was our language. Plus, Scorpions from Germany sang in English. Loudness from Japan was singing in English. A Voivod from Canada, French, yeah, was singing in English. So for us was kind of something that we had to do. you know.
Yeah. Which record was the really big first international success for you guys? Was it Beneath the Remains?
Yeah, definitely. Beneath the
Okay.
Remains was the first one released officially by Roadrunner. It's the first one that was released worldwide, was every record store around the world, and it was a huge impact, for us, for the label, for everybody involved. Nobody really expected Beneath the Remains to have that impact underground. Was already compared to classics like Raining Blood and stuff, which I think was too much. But we didn't care, was fucking amazing to put us together with those monsters, the big four, and bands that without them wouldn't be a Sepultura. So we were there side by side with them, and it was really exciting times. It's fucking fantastic.
Wow. And then of course Roots was a massive success internationally. Maybe looking back on the risks that you guys took on that record and coming up with some of this stuff with Ross Robinson on production, was this a challenging record to make, or was it not as challenging because it was really tapping into, pun intended, you guys' roots?
It's a big challenge. I mean, it was a big album. We knew we were working something really special that the label knew. I mean, Ross Robinson was the perfect producer to do Roots. Roots wouldn't be Roots for sure without Ross there and his vision and his way of portraying music. Very organic, very artistic, very meaningful. A lot of meaning really on everything we did. The influence of the Brazilian music and the Chavantes tribe. 16 songs because the CD allowed us in time to record more. It was a really special time also in history, because if we were on the vinyl days, Roots could be like a double album, maybe, but not
Right.
really that kind of stuff like continuous, that we kind of imagine Roots coming from one end to the other without side A or B or C or D, was something like life itself, doesn't come back. It
Right.
starts and then goes to the end. So it was really intense, it was amazing experience, such a privilege to be a part of such a great project. And we were 100%. At the same time, the band was totally unorganized and the management was crazy and confusing and everything was wrong. And the management backstage in the office was hell. Inside the jam room in the studio, nobody touched. I think it was really special for us to keep everything away so we could focus on the music, and then save the band for a while. We were in the studio working, very excited with Ross, and nobody was really inside giving advices. People from outside the band and people that think they know something. But yeah, it's an album that we still today. It's very fresh. It's very powerful, and it's one of a kind. It's a fantastic album, and it's always great to look back and remember those days too. besides all the problems we had backstage, was like fantastic times.
Wow, sounds cool. I'd love to delve more into that potentially in the future. Before we wrap up, I just wanted to ask you, thinking about the length of you guys' career and really the tenure, you guys have been through all the eras of metal and rock, and you guys have survived and outlived, whether it's grunge or whatever it may be. To what do you credit that to? I mean, is it just your sheer will to be yourselves, or is it your, again, maybe insulating yourselves from what's going on outside, the outside noise throughout the years?
That's it, man. Being ourselves, really focus on what we are, and of course, absorbing influences and listening. The our own culture, bringing our own elements. Being Brazilian gave us this identity. That we are what we are, and we start using that in thrash metal, and we kind of create something new with the percussion. You see later Slipknot, putting the percussion on stage and saying they were very much influenced by Sepultura and System of a Down and Deftones and Korn, and even Judas Priest. Man, Glenn Tipton told me that he was really into Chaos AD. That was really an
Wow.
influence for him. I mean, another mind blow. What the fuck, man? Another metal god. Being influenced by our music. It's a fun. It's amazing how far can reach something like that. Art and music, and regardless of politics, Sepultura played more than 80 countries. And regardless of religion or politics, music is there. Heavy metal, especially, heavy metal is the most popular style in the world that doesn't need any top 10 charts or any hits. Heavy metal doesn't write singles. We write albums. We write stories. We
Yeah.
care about the artwork. We care about the front cover. We care about the official product. We don't like to buy bootleg stuff. We like to buy the official T-shirt, the official album, and etc. So it keeps the style strong and well. It's a family thing. It's a very real, and it's a privilege to be a part of this metal world, and and it's great to be here celebrating 41 years old, in such a great mood and enjoying every little bit of what's happening. It's a great feeling.
It's a big one, man, and it's huge for metal. It's huge for you guys. It's huge for Brazil. I definitely I love to see it. When can fans expect a date for the final show? I'm sure that's probably in the works.
Definitely, end of 2026. We don't have a specific date yet, but working on it, and pretty soon we're going to announce this amazing party that it doesn't matter what part of the world you are, you have to go. All right.
That sounds so cool, man. Yeah, I'd love to get involved in some coverage on it. I know we have probably a year, but I'd love to hit up your people and maybe get involved somehow, man.
Definitely.